Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maureen O'Connor from Quilters Heaven in Northbrook, Illinois, and I am the Opinionated Quilter. Today's episode, number 156, is Make the Block Your Way. Stay tuned, I have a couple of really good tips to give you. But before we get to that, a warning about magnets. I use these magnets from Harbor Freight on my long arm. And I saw a video that showed 10 quilting items you can get from Harbor Freight, and the first item on the list were these magnets. And I have to tell you, they are very powerful. If you get too close together, they just snap right up, and they did on my thumb. And I bled, and it hurt, and it was very difficult to get them apart off of my thumb. And Catalina, who works here, had two come together on her belly, and she got a huge bruise. So my tip is, be cautious of very strong magnets. Do not pick up more than one at a time. Keep them separate. I use 3 or 4 across the belly bar of my long arm, and I put all of them in separate spots near me so that they cannot snap together when you don't want them to. Well, you don't ever really want them to. You just need, please, keep them separate so they don't snap on your body parts. Okay, let's get to the episode. Last week, I talked about fixing bad patterns. This is not the same thing. This is taking a perfectly fine pattern, but making it the way you want to make it. Now, you all know I hate waste. I got this waste from making this block. I've been making door banners, and typically I'm doubling the size of the block. This pattern is from Northcott Fabrics. I think I got it last Father's Day. It could have been 2 Father's Days ago, but I think it was just last year. And I decided that this would be my June door banner. And so I decided to make the pattern twice the size. Now, I've made it before in the regular size for a bib as a gift to one of my daughter's friends. And the thing I did not like about the pattern is that these pieces here were 2 pieces and then sewn together. And actually this was 2 pieces as well. And I wanted to keep these whole. Now, that doesn't mean this is a bad pattern. It just means I wanted to make it differently. So I taped the pattern pieces together to see what size I had to make these. Now, if you do it that and make this one piece, this piece here to put into here is a Y seam. You can't do Y seams with foundation paper piecing. So while I used the foundation paper piecing pattern, what I did was cut the pieces just using these as a pattern. I did not foundation paper piece it. I hope that makes sense. After constructing this piece, I then decided to add on these pieces so that I could do my Y seam here. And the first thing that happened was the lines on this fabric were going cattywampus. And I was like, I need to get these all lined up. That's why I had all this waste. The way to get your pieces to line up straight, if you're going to use a stripe or a check, or in this case, Michael Miller's cocoa fabric, you need to do what the garment sewers do, and that's mark your grain line on your pieces. I had to take my pieces and mark where the lines are supposed to go so that when I laid my pattern onto my fabric, I could get them in the orientation that I wanted to get them. It's what garment sewers do all the time, but quilters don't think of it, but here I am making a quilt block of a garment. Now, the one thing I want to point out about the waist is this kind of waist, while I don't like it, to me, it's necessary to get the aesthetic that I wanted to get. I talk about this all the time. Now, this will get cut up and put into a World's Greatest Scrap Quilt or some other scrap quilt. So it won't be totally wasted. But I get enough of this, the waste that I can't help, that I don't want waste that I don't need to have, which is why I rail against the drawing a line corner to corner and then sewing on it and then cutting off the 2 half square triangles and putting them in your scrap bin. I have enough of this. I don't need the stuff that I don't need to create. But always, we're kind of artists. I always say I'm kind of pedestrian. There's way more artist quilters out there than me. But I want my project to look like how I want my project to look like. So if I have to change a foundation paper piecing pattern to just a regular piecing pattern, or I have to put some pieces that I cut wrong into a scrap heap, I'm okay with that. The last bit on this pattern is we decided to add a pocket. Now I just talked about marking grain lines so you can get these straight. The first time we cut our pocket, we cut it, we embroidered it and had the lines going straight across. And when we lined it up here, it disappeared. So in this case, I now went the opposite of what I talked about in the other parts. We decided to put this on the bias. You can see the lines going diagonally. So now it will show up. Now, the last tip I want to show you, I've shown you to mark your grain lines, is a trick I learned many years ago. I wanted to get the curve of this even, and I was having a hard time just eyeballing it. So if you take a piece of freezer paper, I cut it the size, the width of the pocket, and then I folded it in half. And then if I cut my curve, I now have it perfectly even. Then you put it onto your fabric with the shiny side up, and I take a little bit of starch, and I actually took the can of starch, sprayed a little bit of it into the lid, used a Q-tip, dipped it into the starch, and used the Q-tip and saturated this edge. And then folded the fabric over. Let me get it here. I'll bring it up as soon as I get it back in. So then I press it with the starch on it to the shiny side of the freezer paper, and then it stays. So now I will be able to, you can see how nicely that is staying. So now I will just do a little row of top stitching up here, probably also down here below the dad, and then I will sew it to the quilt block. And that will be my June door banner. I hope you all learned something from this. That's always my goal. Now, we have winners from the last week's giveaway. The winner of last week's pineapple bundle is Belinda Grant, 3181. So that's BELINDA GRANT 3181. Please send me your mailing address and I will get that right out to you. My email, quiltersheaveninc@gmail.com. I also want to thank all of you who told me that Pineapple Quilts is in North Carolina and recently has been bought by Keepsake Quilting. And you all said it's really good quality fabric. So I'm very happy, Belinda, for you to get this nice bundle of fabric. And also, I have to say, of all our giveaways, you all were so clever in how you worked in the word pineapple in the comment. I got lots of good laughs. Thank you so much. This week's giveaway is a repeat. I tried to give it away before, but nobody claimed it. This is a bundle. These are all from Keepsake Quilting. Knit 1, Purl 2 medley. I don't know how many are in here. I didn't count. Oh, it says 6 fat quarters. This one is 10-inch squares, colors of fall. And this one is a mystery medley. So if you would like to win this giveaway, you all know what to do. First, you need to like this video, you need to comment on this video, and you need to subscribe to my channel. And in the comment, write various. I know we've used that word before, but it's okay, we're allowed to use it again. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Keep the questions coming. I got a couple of good ones this past week, and I will be working on some answers. And until next time, happy sewing.